Lesson 19. Topic: What comes after the awakening of the mind? Greetings, brothers and sisters. In this lesson, we will discuss the important topic of what comes after the awakening of the mind, when contact with the universe is intimate and communication is easy. In some cases, the level of communication with the universe that is reached will depend on your future and the destiny you are meant to fulfill. However, you will generally need to connect with others, to find other people interested in the same subject, so that your evolution can be greater, so that you can reach a much higher level and try to save the planet as a living entity. This is what you must do. Normally, when one reaches this level, one begins to connect with others. Sometimes, a group of people already exist who share common tastes and interests. In that case, the group grows stronger, and the group's evolution unfolds as a unit. Some progress faster, others slower, but in the end, everyone arrives at the same place. That's the goal. Sometimes you start alone. Enlightenment begins within yourself. But in that case, if you are alone, the Father will tell you that you need to find people. Spreading the message is the goal, so that everyone reaches the same level. I've said it before. In that case, the group of people will exist on its own. The energy of the universe will suddenly appear, causing people with the same interests to unite, to meet and do things together. And that's what usually happens. Secondly, what you have to achieve is to spread the message, by any means. And in that case, if the message reaches people as we intend, the result will be optimal. Try to avoid the masses, public, psychological manipulation, and the influence of large groups. That only produces negative effects. Groups need to be small, no more than 5 to 15 people. Try to hold the meetings in a place with high energy, so you can easily communicate with the universe. If the place has a lot of positive energy, it acts as a gateway, making your process much easier. You have a lot of difficulty reaching that level. You already have enough problems connecting on a planet with such a negative aura surrounding you. But there is a solution. You just need to gather in a place with high energy, which acts as a gateway and again keep the group small. Another piece of advice: try to keep the meetings from being too long. More than 2 hours will be too much for many people. Ideally, the meetings should be spread out over the month. For example, it will depend on the groups, but in principle, a couple of times a month is my advice. When there are no more group meetings, ideally each person should go to their home or meditation space with a favorable energy that acts as a gateway and establish communication with the Father. Later, in group meditation sessions, these meetings serve to unify the group's minds around a single idea, so that the vibrational frequency at which all those minds operate is the same. The message reaches the Father more easily. I advise you that if the groups grow larger than 10, 12, or 15, as I mentioned before, it becomes difficult to correct the imbalances that arise within such a large group, especially when there are people who come to try it out, who have no meditation experience, and who can then cause serious disturbances in the minds of others. In such cases, it is advisable that they meditate at home first. For a time, they need to educate themselves, to adapt their minds to the demanding mental exercise that meditation represents. Theoretically, in the future or further down the line, when a group begins to grow and becomes difficult to manage, the advice is that each group meet in its own specific place, where the energy is optimal for opening the door and facilitating communication. Then, each group meditates together in its own location, meeting at the same time if possible and doing the required exercises. This is preferable to having a large group meditation session. In some cases, it could be done, but it's not advisable, only when there's a good level of experience. Perhaps, if everything goes well, it could be done a couple of times a year, or 3 or 4, depending on the group and the number of participants. There, in a higher level of energy, could be achieved. The sensations of the people participating in that meditation would be much stronger, and the effects could be noticed in the surroundings of the place where they are done. The entire astral space around your meditation location could be changed. Later, when many more people have reached a high level of meditation practice, it's advisable to increase the frequency of group meditations. For example, if they were twice a month, they could be increased to 3 or 4 times a month. This isn't recommended because in many cases people are separated by great distances, making it difficult to do so, especially considering your busy, hectic daily lives. However, achieving 3 or 4 sessions a month would be very beneficial, particularly if the level of mental training of the participants in the group meditation is high. This would yield great results. I shouldn't have to say this, but you should avoid trying to make money from these group meditation events. Many people will try, and if the groups become large, they will attract more people, which in turn attracts money. People will come because they can earn money, and this will ultimately undermine the true essence of meditation. You must avoid that path. Therefore, I repeat, small groups, at most 3 or 4 times a month for group meditation, and at the end of the year, group meditations together 3 or 4 times a year. It is not necessary to all meet in the same place. If that were possible, it would be much better, but it won't be easy and will depend on the level of the minds involved. As I said before, another thing that could be done is it involves gathering together in a place, either astrally or mentally, to meditate. You mentally travel to a place with a lot of energy, for example, a holy site with abundant positive energy, which acts as a massive gateway for communication. This wouldn't have the same effect on Earth, especially if your plan for group meditation is to pacify certain areas. The effect wouldn't be immediate, it would eventually arrive, but it would take some time for the psychic energy produced in the astral dimension to reach Earth. These are my recommendations for the future, when many people have the ability to meditate and want to do group meditations. Obviously, in an emergency, group meditation should be done much more frequently, at a distance, among many people, and, as I said before, gathering in a holy place, such as the sanctuary of Fuensanta or the shrine of Our Lady of Fatima. There are many holy places with abundant positive energy and telluric energy. That is why all the temples of all religions are built in the same places. Well, I think that's enough for today. I have given a brief glimpse of what will be like later when people reach a certain level and want to continue on this path. So until next time, brothers and sisters.